Hello friends, now we need to install the other roles on the SCCM server just like a WSUS. So we are going to install the WSUS on a SCCM primary server on server manager. Go to manage, go to the roles, select next, need to click the Windows Server Update Service, click on add features and click on next. So there are internal database, WID connectivity and the WSUS service. We need to uncheck the we are not using the Windows internal database service on the server, so that's why we are unchecked. Installing, selecting the WSUS and SQL Server connectivity, clicking the next. So here we need to just give the path where the updates will be stored. We can create a folder. So I am creating a source folder here. The source created. Here we need to give the path source WSUS. So here we need to give the SQL Server IP address or the host name. Let me give here 01.btech.com connection. It's showing the successfully connected to server. Then next, we need to select here restart if required. Select, then needs to click on install. So you can close button. So, but the installation will be going on in the backend. It will take some time. So once it will done, then after we need to launch the WSUS. You can see it's showing the installation has been complete. So I'm closing one. Here you can see the notification go and launch host installation task needs to click here. Now it's doing the configuration on the SQL server and creating the database under the default instance. We simultaneously we can parallelly open the SQL server and check there. So we need to check the database. We need to install the SQL Server Management Studio. So we have not yet installed. So we need to install the SQL Server Management Studio to check the database. Let's see the installation in primary server. Still it's going on. I'm going to install the SQL Server Management Studio in SQL Server. To connect, mount the first SQL Management Studio, the SQL Server. We can also click on the file settings and go to the DVD image, browse. This is the SQL Server Management Studio setup image. OK. So actually the setup was running. It was showing in the backend. So I think so. It was throwing the error message. So we have closed that, and now again we have opened this uh, Management Studio and clicking on next. So it will take some time to install. So let me check the WSUS status on a primary server. Let me switch to the primary server. You can see still it's showing the configuration is going on. So it will take some time. So you can see installation of the SQL Server Management Studio almost has been done. So once it will done, then after we will launch the Management Studio and check the database. So Management Studio has been installed. So this is showing the restart is required in order to complete the setup. So I think we can wait because the database is creating in this SQL server. So that's why if we create, then might we get it failed. So that's why we need to wait. So you can see the WSUS now it's showing installed. So you can see still it's showing the post installation task is in progress. So this might take few minutes. Yes. So you can see the configuration has been done of the WSUS. It's showing it has completed. Let me close this one. Okay. So you can see the post installation also successfully completed. So now I'm going to close and now we can restart. Okay, here we no need to click on the next. Otherwise, once the SCCM will be installed, then after we need to launch the WSUS. Otherwise, we can till then needs to close this one. Okay, so now I'm going to close the WSUS and restart this SQL Management Studio server. Then you can see the Management Studio. It has been opened. So now connect the SQL server. Go into the database. You can see here the SUS database has been created for the WSUS. So all the WSUS updates will be stored in this DB database. So let me close this and okay. So now we need to create the client push policy setting on the domain controller. And in this setting, we need to allow the file and print service. And another is the WMI needs to allow in the firewall policy in the domain controller. Launch the domain controller. We will open the group policy management. You can see this is the domain name. So in this domain, you need to right click the domain and create a GPO in this domain and link it here. So we can give the name line policy client push policy setting. Okay. And after that, need to click on edit. Right click here and click on edit and needs to click on policy window settings and security settings. Now you can see firewall with the advanced security. In the firewall, you can see there will be a inbound rules and outbound rules, right? So first of all, we will create the allow the file and prints and the WMI in inbound, then outbound. So in the inbound, needs to click new rule. Here needs to select the predefined, and here needs to select the file and print sharing. Select the predefined, then need to select the file and print sharing, and then click on next. Then click on next, and here needs to click on allow the connection, which is already selected. So finish. Then after needs to click right click on the inbound, then click on the new rule. Again click on the predefined here, Windows Management Instrumentation, WMI, Windows. This is showing the Windows Firewall. This one we need to select Windows Management Instrumentation, then click on next, next, and then click on finish. Right. So WMI and file and print serving both has been added in the inbound rule. Now we will add the same the outbound rule as well. Then click on new rule, then click on predefined here, select the file and print sharing, then click on next, then click on allow the connections, then finish. And again needs to right click and then next, the Windows Management Instrumentation, next, and allow, finish. So both has been added. So now we need to allow the SQL Server ports. For that we need to also create the group policy to allow the SQL ports. Let me check. You can see it has been done. Okay, so now we need to open the SQL ports so that it can be done the application. It will be used in the application. So basically, there are the two ports we need to open, which is the 1433 and 4022. So you can see. Okay, so port number 1433, which is actually using for the SQL Server listening for the incoming connections on this port, and for the port 4022, this is this SQL Service Broker port. Through there is no default port for the SQL Server Broker. Both are required. So we need to create the new group policy for the same. So which is basically these are ports are using for the SQL Server database. Alright. We need to again create the policy. So we will create with the name of SQL ports for SCCM 2012 R2. So we need to close this. We need to right click on the domain name, then create a GPO SQL Server ports for MECM 2103. Okay. Then we need to right click and then click on edit and click on policy. So again we need to go to the firewall. So in the administrator to open the Windows settings, then go to the security settings, then click on firewall and Windows firewall with advanced security. Okay. So in the inbound rules, we need to add the TCP/IP port SQL ports 1433 and 4022 in the inbound rules only. So here needs to right click, new rule, and here we need to click on ports. Here this is already selected the TCP/IP, so we need to give the port number 1433, allow the connection. Next, we need to give the name inbound. So we need to give the name here. We will type here name TCP inbound 1433. We have given the name TCP inbound 1433. Then click on finish. and again needs to right click and click on new role. Then again we need to click on the port and click on next. It's already selected on the TCP, that is fine. We need to enter the port number, which is 4022. Then click on next. Allow connection is already there. Then need to select all the domain. Then next, here we will give TCP inbound 4022. So first of all, we have added in the inbound rule, which is file and print sharing, then WMI and the SQL ports through the group policy, right? So we need to run the GP update first. GP update /force. So it has been successfully updated the group policy. So I need to open the RSOP to verify DMD RSOP.msc. Okay. So this is the RSOP settings. So in the administrator templates, in the extra registry settings, you can see we have created the two policy here, which is for the client push. You can see all the settings which is enabled in this firewall. Alright, so now we need to close this. So friends, in this part we have completed the WSUS installation and configuration, and after that we have added the file and print sharing WMI in the firewall through the group policy, and then we have opened the SQL ports, which is 14334022. Okay, so this part has been done. So the next part is the installation of primary server. So the next part is the SCCM installation 2103. Thank you so much for your watching this video. So we will see you in the next part, the SCCM installation. Thank you.